Okay, here it is. Let me show you how I flew to Tokyo from New York City, 14 hours for 80,000 miles and $5.60. This is a $16,000 one-way ticket, and I did it for $5. I'm going to show you the whole experience from pulling up to the airport, checking in, going into the lounge, boarding my plane, getting served champagne, all of the food I ordered, what to expect, what the seat looks like, the pajamas, the bed, all that stuff, and even how I was able to get this trip for $5. Coming up right here. Okay, this is what it looks like outside. I pull up to the terminal, Japan Airlines, Terminal 1. You walk right through the doors, and there's this fantastic view. You get an overall view of the whole terminal. Everything's very clean and orderly, and it's got the American flag hanging, and it just looks fantastic. Now, this is a sped up version of my journey from walking in the terminal all the way to the gate at JAL and the first class experience. Once you go through security, as a JAL first class ticket holder, you have access to the Lufthansa lounge. The first class section of the Lufthansa lounge is actually up these steps. You walk up, make a couple turns, and you get a lounge that's a little bit separate from the general business lounge. Plenty of seating, a dedicated bar, plenty of space. There's even places to hang your coats. There's an area over here for food. As you can see, wonderful wall of windows. There's even some TVs playing so you can watch television. But comfy chairs, plenty of space, and a great view of the tarmac, which I thoroughly enjoyed. The food is what you might expect to find in a lounge. So they have breakfast offerings, yogurt, apples, granola, bars to take with you, chips, and you can get sodas. I didn't want to fill up, so I just grabbed a cup of coffee. This is the Japan Airlines 777 that I'm about to fly on. A good thing to remember anytime you travel really is if you can afford it or if you have the time to do it, why not get a little something for the flight attendants that are going to be taking care of you? This trip is really long for me. This is a 14-hour trip. So as a token of my appreciation, I'm just going to bring the flight attendant crew and the staff that'll be working the flight some chocolates, and maybe it brightens their day a little bit, or maybe it's something they like. But it's easy for me to do, and if you show up with a gift, it's very appreciated from the flight attendant staff usually, and I think it's just nice. It's just a nice something to do. It's a great way to meet the staff and start the trip off right. Now I walk right up to the plane, and this is video of me boarding the plane. The gal in the white coat was the lead flight attendant, so she greeted me, showed me to my seat. You had to walk through this really small business class cabin that's forward of the main business class, and then she showed me my seat, which was seat 1A. So I had the front left window seat in this giant plane. This is a fantastically large seat. I'm 6'3". This seat is plenty big enough. It's really hard for this to come across through video footage or through pictures, but I could sit down in the seat and not touch either side, either armrest. I have a picture that I shared with my family that is me sitting in the seat, feet outstretched, and I don't even touch the ottoman that's in front of me. When you are booked in a premium cabin, they will often show up with a welcome drink. In this instance, I selected champagne, so they poured me a glass of champagne while the rest of the plane was boarding, so I could sit and relax and get everything squared away and stored, and then just enjoy a glass of champagne as we prepared to depart for Japan. This cabin is laid out in a 1-2-1 configuration, so one seat on the left, then an aisle, then two seats, then an aisle, and then the seat on the right-hand side of the plane. This is a schematic of the actual seat configuration so that you can see what I'm talking about. And then as you can see here, the obligatory, hey, we'll take your picture for you, in the seat, so the flight attendants offered to take a photo of me, and here I am. Again, 6'3". I'm not a small guy, 6'3", over 200 pounds. Plenty of room in this seat. So if you're tall, if you're watching this video and you're on the taller side, you will have plenty of space. This is the folder that's waiting for you at your seat. As you can see here, when you open it up, on the left-hand side, there is a Wi-Fi card and a bunch of customs forms and a shopping brochure for their online shop that you can buy things. And then there's the wine list and the food list. I will flip through both the wine list and the food list. Everything will be in chapters in the video description. So if you're not as interested in the food, you can skip ahead or skip to the part of the video that you like the most. But the food on this flight was fantastic. Their wine selection is fantastic. I didn't get any cocktails, but you can pause the video at any point and see all of the details on all of the food items and the wine list. Okay, so first things first, there is a little sack here that contains the slippers. So I'm just going to undo that, check out my slippers. It also comes with a little shoehorn, and I'll put my slippers on and get ready for the flight to take off. I'll go through each aspect of the seat here and explain what I remember from all these little pockets and buttons and things. Next to your left elbow, in this case, if you're seat 1A, you have a main storage compartment. You just press this button and it pops open. A little tough to do this with one hand, but here we go. There's a little mesh netting in there to separate your items. Two compartments, remote. So that's easy. Next to that is a slightly smaller container. This is a better remote. This is the remote I use for most of the flight for my television. And then you have an area in which you can put your cell phone, slightly depressed there. And then ahead of where you see my champagne, that's another little storage area, and that has the plugs so you can recharge your devices and also store things in there. I think I put my phone in there at one point. On either side of your seat are these two adjustable lamps. There's also the port to plug in your headphones here. These lights are nice because you can twist them and increase the intensity with which they shine. So it's not just an on-off. There's a gradient to it. They also move around pretty freely. So I really appreciated this aspect of the seat. And then you're also given Bose headphones. These are over-ear headphones that are noise canceling. I usually travel with my own, but these are fantastic. They're just like the ones I have. Then you have a cleansing wipe. You have a face mask that you can use. I love flying on Japanese carriers because of the amenities. They're always very thoughtful and wonderful to use, so I would recommend that if you're flying on a Japanese carrier. Then you have a couple amenity kits. This is a men's-specific skincare kit, and then there is a general amenity kit for everybody. I'll detail what's included in each of those right here. Now this kit's made of plastic. It's a plastic container. It comes with pretty sizable items on the inside. The first thing here that we have is a total revitalizer cream. It's 14 grams. So you can see that. Then we have a cleansing foam that's 30 grams. And then finally, there's a hydrating lotion that's 30 milliliters. I don't have a lot of experience with facial care or anything other than soap or a general cleanser, so I don't know if this is a good brand. I think it is. I looked it up. It seems to be a good brand, but this is what you get. The next kit is a Zero by Halliburton Amenity Kit. Halliburton is a suitcase manufacturer, and this amenity kit has everything that you think an amenity kit would have on a flight. It's got a lot of little trinkets and things in here, and it's a really cool case. This is the coolest amenity kit case that I've ever received, but earplugs, pretty standard. Tissues, they label everything pretty clearly. It's funny. Japan Airlines. There's a lip balm, I believe this one is, right here. There's a folding brush, comb brush kind of situation. I didn't open this during my flight, but that's what you have. There's another lotion of sorts. You have a toothbrush. You also have another mask, and this is not the face mask. This is the eye mask for sleeping, so that's a little bit different. And then a little brochure that tells you what everything is and is a little advertisement by Halliburton. And then you have a hydration face mask, so moisture mask. And this is mouthwash, just in a disposable, easy-to-open container. So that's everything that comes in this little kit. I'll probably get rid of most of this stuff or use this stuff when I'm traveling, and discard it. But the case is really nice. It's a really cool case, and I like it. And this is the view from sitting in my seat to the seat that's right across the aisle from me in row 1. As you'll see later, the flight attendants will make this up as my separate bed. Since there's only 4 of us in first class, we each get our own bed in a separate seat, which was really nice. This is the ottoman. So if you're traveling with someone and you want to share a meal with them, someone can sit here, you can sit on your side of the seat and pull this table forward and you can share a meal. And now it's time for the safety video. And shortly after this, we will be taking off. I've recorded the takeoff for those of you who like to see what that's like. I will also include the audio so you'll get a real sense of what it sounds like and a nice clear sky in New York City. So I'll be quiet and let you experience what it's like to take off. Food service is right around the corner, so I'm cleaning my hands with this little cloth, and the lead flight attendant has come out, and she's going to set up my table for me. As you can see, this table is really, really big. This is the largest table I've had in an airline, and it's very convenient because the entire thing slides forward and backwards. So if you need to get up and use the restroom during your meal, you can easily do that. It slides right out of the way. So I'm going to start with champagne here. Japan Airlines offers two different kinds of champagne, Salon and Belle Carte and Saumon. So I'm probably butchering one of those names, but the bottle of Salon champagne is really exclusive, and I've only seen it for sale in a few places inside of the US, so I wanted to make sure to try this champagne. And it's also very expensive. Best case, you can get this bottle of champagne for $1,000 if you can find it, or maybe it's on auction. But this is what it looks like. I looked up what the average retail price is. It's super expensive. I'm ordinarily not going to be able to purchase a bottle of champagne like this, so I figured I'd treat myself to a couple glasses on the flight. And it didn't disappoint. It was very good. Here's the amuse-bouche. This is asparagus wrapped in prosciutto and another little crostini with some cream and a raspberry. Again, very good. For me, one of the biggest things, or one of the biggest parts of the flight is the food and what you get to eat and how it's presented. So I go through that in detail. Again, I have timestamps on this video, so if you want to skip forward and you're not interested in the food, feel free to do so. But I labeled everything, and I'm going to go through the food item by item. I selected the Japanese menu, so everything that I am served is on the Japanese side. You have a choice between the Western menu and the Japanese menu. I figured I'm traveling to Japan, I'm traveling to Tokyo. Why not get the Japanese menu? So that's what I did. The way I've laid out this section of the video, I show you what is served to me, and then I sort of fast forward through the part of me eating it, so you don't have to sit around for that. But I will show you close-ups of every dish that's served to me. Another one of the benefits of traveling at first class internationally, usually with a non-US carrier, is that you get some sort of pajamas or loungewear. So after my meal, I changed into my pajamas or PJs or sweats or whatever you want to call them. The bathroom is pretty standard. It's very clean and everything is laid out nicely, and there's everything you need. It's not overly large. It's enough space and so that you don't feel cramped, and you can change clothes pretty easily. And if you've ever traveled to Japan, you'll notice how wonderfully everything is labeled. They take the time to label and describe everything, so everything in the bathroom is labeled. This is a Japanese toilet. For those of you that have been to Japan, it has a bidet function and feature in it, and it also has a drying function in it. Japanese toilets are far different from Western toilets. So, it's just some little nuance that's a little bit different. They also have these folding sections in the bathroom that can flip down and you can sit on or stand on while you're changing your clothes, so you never have to step on the bathroom floor if you'd like. And now I've changed into my pajamas. Again, I'm a pretty big guy. These are the large size pajamas. They fit great, and they were comfortable. They weren't too hot. It was great. This is the view of the bed that the flight attendants have put together for me. Again, we had seats available, so I was able to keep seat 1A as a seat, and seat 1B or 1C, whatever it was labeled, right next to me was my bed, so I could go back and forth depending on if I wanted to lay down or sit up, and that was a very nice little perk. Now, after some time, after I rested for a little while, when I awoke again, I was asked if I wanted anything else to eat, so I selected from the Western side. I just selected a lobster sandwich, was interested in that, and then the Japanese soba noodles with fried bean curd, and they brought out a strawberry panna cotta for me without asking, because they just wanted to make sure that I had enough to eat. This was super unique. This is just Japanese tea, but it's apparently very special, and they wanted to make sure that I tried it. It was really good. I'm not a tea connoisseur. It tasted like tea to me, but it's nice, and it's served in a wine glass, so I gave it a shot. The flight attendants also presented me with a little gift, a model airplane that I put together when I got home. It's fun. It's a nice little remembrance of my time on the 777. Even though it's an Airbus model, I still think it's a cool little gift. And here's a quick time lapse of cloudy Tokyo. This is landing at Narita Airport. So that's my flight, and this is a breakdown of how much that flight cost, how much I paid for it, and how you can search and get the same thing. So this flight costs over $16,000 one way, $16,000 one way from JFK to Narita Airport in Tokyo. I paid $5.60 plus 80,000 American Airlines miles. So that's a fantastic redemption value, and I'll show you exactly how to search out this fare and how to do it yourself if you have American Airlines miles. As you can see here, this is the price of the flight. This is my redemption, 80,000 miles, and this is my receipt, $5.60. That's how much it cost. Now I'll walk you through AA.com, and this is how you can view award availability. So if you have American Airlines miles, or you have a credit card that gives you American Airlines miles, this is how you're going to search for this flight or any flight over to Japan that JAL flies. You can use American Airlines miles to purchase a seat on JAL because they are partners. I'm biased, but clearly the best way, in my view, to use American Airlines miles is to fly to Japan on JAL. Whether you want to fly coach or business or first class, that is the best way, and you're going to get the most bang for your buck turning in your American Airlines miles for this type of ticket. You can fly one-way economy for 35,000 miles, one-way business for 60,000 miles, and one-way first for 80,000 miles. And that's going to beat any other price as far as miles redemptions that you can do with American Airlines. So first, you're going to go to AA.com. You're going to click Redeem Miles, and you're going to put in your search criteria. JAL to NRT, that's Narita, Tokyo, one passenger. Check the date and click Search. Then it'll take you to this page. As you can see here, here's a business class ticket on Japan Airlines for 60,000 miles. I want to look at the calendar and see what other dates I can travel. You put in business class. Here are all the other options and how much they cost. For my particular ticket, I want to fly first class. There's 2 days in February that I can travel for first class for 80,000 miles. I'm just going to check one of those out. And you scroll down and you just look under first class until you see one pop up. And right here, here's 80,000 miles one way on Japan Airlines. Right there. Let's see what else they have. Oh, here's another one. Japan Airlines, 80,000 miles one way. You just want to make sure when you look to the left and see who the carrier is that Japan Airlines is listed. And that looks like it's going to be it for that particular day. Now, if you look again, you can fly Japan Airlines for 35,000 miles if you just want to do economy, which is a heck of a deal. It's a 14-hour flight for 35,000 miles. That's fantastic. On the other side of the coin, American Airlines charges 64,000, 105,000, and 155,000 for the exact same route. So you can pay 155,000 American Airlines miles to fly in an American Airlines flight from JFK to Tokyo, or you can pay 80,000 miles to fly in a Japan Airlines flight from JFK to Tokyo. I would argue that it's much better to take a non-US carrier international than it is to take a US carrier. It's just a different experience. The food's better, the seats are better. It's just clearly a much more enjoyable experience. So there's a few ways to earn American Airlines miles. The way I do it, I use American Airlines as my domestic flights. Anytime I'm going back and forth in the U.S. for business or pleasure, going to the East Coast or the West Coast or the South, I try and fly American as much as possible, and then I just slowly accumulate those miles. I also have status, so I'm able to accumulate those miles a little more quickly. And then I also have an American Airlines co-branded credit card. So I accumulate miles on spending for things. So I'm able to compound and accrue miles at a pretty good rate. And then I just save up for tickets like this and save up and try and redeem miles for really big ticket aspirational experiences. If you like seeing this type of content, subscribe to my channel. Please like it and share it. I'm going to make videos on some lounges that I visited in Tokyo coming up. Also, I have some credit card videos on how to really utilize the credit cards to your benefit so that you can do trips like this. I'll link some really good travel hacking videos right here.